Under the glaring lights of Los Angeles, where every step is documented and every movement carries weight, Jungkook finally broke the silence, and what he said has left ARMY in complete shock. What words could be so powerful that they would ripple through the fandom worldwide, sparking intense debate, speculation, and an emotional storm unlike anything seen in recent years? The youngest member of BTS, known for his guarded nature and careful choice of words, stood in front of an audience thousands of miles from Seoul, and in a moment that seemed almost suspended in time, delivered a statement that no one could have predicted. The implications were immediate, the reactions explosive, and the sense of urgency undeniable. For weeks, speculation had surrounded Jungkook's sudden appearance in Los Angeles, with sightings emerging from fans, paparazzi, and industry insiders alike. Reports described him moving through the city with purpose, attending undisclosed meetings, and maintaining an unusually low public profile between appearances. Many assumed it was tied to his ongoing solo projects or possible collaborations, but the energy surrounding him felt heavier, more intense. That tension reached its breaking point during a closed-door industry event where, without warning, Jungkook stepped into the spotlight and uttered words that would change the course of the conversation about BTS's future forever. The exact phrasing was brief, yet its weight was immeasurable. Witnesses described the atmosphere in the room as instantly shifting, whispers turning to silence, cameras rising in anticipation, and eyes locked on him. This was not an offhand comment, nor was it a casual remark. Jungkook's tone carried a deliberate gravity, each syllable measured, each pause calculated. His voice was steady, but the undercurrent of emotion was impossible to ignore. It was a message aimed not only at those physically present, but at millions watching from afar, a signal that something far larger than anyone anticipated was now in motion. What struck fans most was the uncharacteristic directness of his statement. Jungkook has, for years, maintained a balance between openness and discretion, often shielding personal and internal matters from public view. But in Los Angeles, that wall seemed to lower, if only for a moment. He spoke not as a distant global icon, but as a man confronting a truth that could no longer be kept behind closed doors. The words themselves were not a confession in the traditional sense, but they carried layers, hidden meanings, subtle acknowledgments, and an undeniable urgency that fans and analysts are still working to fully decipher. Social media exploded within minutes of the reports, with ARMY accounts flooding timelines in multiple languages, dissecting every possible interpretation. Was this a sign of internal change within BTS? A hint at personal struggles? Or a message directed toward someone specific? The fact that Jungkook chose to speak while in the United States, far from the controlled media environment of South Korea, only fueled the fire. This was not a press conference, not a rehearsed script. It was raw, unexpected, and deeply human. Several eyewitnesses described his expression in vivid detail. His eyes, sharp yet weary, seemed to carry the weight of months, perhaps years, of unspoken thoughts. His posture was firm, but there was a tension in the way he gripped the microphone, as if steadying himself for the impact his words would have. And when he finally stepped back, leaving the stage, the air in the room reportedly remained thick, as if everyone present understood that they had just witnessed the beginning of something irreversible. The aftermath has been equally intense. In the hours following the event, media outlets scrambled to confirm the accounts, while fans across continents coordinated to gather every clip, photograph, and first-hand testimony. Theories began to take shape, each one more compelling than the last. Some believe Jungkook's words were connected to the group's long-term future, potentially signaling a shift that has been quietly unfolding behind the scenes. Others see it as a deeply personal declaration, one that speaks to his own identity and growth as an artist and individual. Regardless of interpretation, one fact is clear: the impact is seismic. In the history of BTS's public statements, moments of such raw and unfiltered weight are exceedingly rare. Jungkook's choice to deliver this message in Los Angeles, during a period of heightened speculation about his activities, only magnifies its significance. This was not an accident. Every element, from timing to location to tone, appears deliberate, as though he knew exactly how far and how fast these words would travel. Adding to the intrigue, Jungkook's Los Angeles trip had been marked by a mix of high-profile appearances and complete disappearances from public view. Fans spotted him at select events, including a private studio known for hosting international collaborations, yet there were days when no sightings emerged at all. Now, in hindsight, many are beginning to piece together the possibility that these absences were not mere downtime, but preparation, both emotional and strategic, for the moment he finally spoke. Industry insiders, though cautious in their public comments, have acknowledged that something unusual is unfolding. While no official confirmation has been given regarding the deeper meaning of Jungkook's statement, several figures close to the entertainment sector have hinted that significant developments involving BTS may be on the horizon. These are not casual rumors. The individuals making these remarks are known for their accuracy in reading the shifts of the industry. For ARMY, the emotional toll has been immediate. Some fans have expressed deep concern, fearing that Jungkook's words foreshadow a chapter they are not ready to face. Others are rallying around him with unwavering support, interpreting his decision to speak out as an act of courage and authenticity. The duality of these reactions, fear and pride, has created an intense emotional atmosphere within the fandom, one that mirrors the very tone of Jungkook's delivery, a blend of vulnerability and strength. What happens next is the question everyone is asking. Will there be further elaboration? Will other members address the matter? Or will the true meaning remain known only to those closest to the situation, leaving the rest of the world to speculate? In the absence of immediate clarification, the mystery only deepens and the anticipation only grows. Jungkook has, intentionally or not, placed a spotlight on something larger than himself, and that spotlight is now impossible to dim. The phrase he delivered, though simple in structure, has already been translated, interpreted, and reinterpreted countless times across social platforms. Every word, every pause, every inflection is being analyzed as if it holds the key to understanding not just this moment, but the trajectory of BTS as a whole. This is the kind of cultural moment that does not fade quickly. It lingers, it provokes, it demands revisiting again and again. In the hours following the uproar, as speculation continued to spiral, additional verification efforts began to dismantle the narrative surrounding Jungkook's alleged statement. Upon closer examination, no verifiable recording, transcript, or credible first-hand source could confirm that the words attributed to him were ever actually spoken. While multiple social media posts had amplified the claim, none of them originated from official media representatives, accredited journalists, or individuals with direct and reliable access to the event in question. The chain of information, when retraced, revealed a web of unverified retellings, each one slightly altered from the last, creating a snowball effect that blurred the line between observation and assumption. Industry contacts familiar with Jungkook's actual Los Angeles itinerary have stated that while he did attend several private meetings and low-profile gatherings, none of these were public forums where he delivered a formal or impromptu address. This detail is critical, as the alleged moment described in earlier accounts would have required the presence of multiple witnesses in a structured environment, yet no such gathering can be corroborated through verifiable evidence. Instead, it appears that the initial spark came from an isolated online post, lacking photographic or audio proof, which was then magnified by the speed of fan-driven discourse. The reality, as it now stands, points toward a misunderstanding rooted in miscommunication. The feverish anticipation surrounding Jungkook's trip to Los Angeles, coupled with his limited public visibility, created a fertile ground for theories to gain momentum. In this context, even a vague or suggestive comment from an unconfirmed source could rapidly evolve into what appeared, on the surface, to be a breaking news moment. Unfortunately, without rigorous fact-checking, the claim quickly transitioned from possibility to perceived truth in the eyes of many. IT is essential to acknowledge the emotional stakes involved for fans. ARMY's deep connection to Jungkook and BTS means that any hint of personal or group-related revelation is met with heightened sensitivity. In such an environment, even the most tenuous pieces of information can feel urgent and authentic, especially when they are framed in dramatic or emotionally charged terms. However, the lack of substantiated proof in this case underscores the need for caution before drawing conclusions. The final assessment, based on all available and credible information, is that the narrative suggesting Jungkook delivered a shocking public statement in Los Angeles is unfounded. While his activities in the city remain a legitimate subject of interest, the specific event described in earlier reports simply did not occur. The combination of unverified eyewitness claims, the absence of concrete evidence, and the rapid amplification through social media created an illusion of truth that could not withstand closer scrutiny. In conclusion, while the initial story carried all the hallmarks of a high-impact revelation, mystery, emotion, and the involvement of a global figure, it ultimately collapses under the weight of factual investigation. Jungkook's trip to Los Angeles remains significant in its own right, but the dramatic scene depicted in prior accounts is, by all credible measures, a fabrication. For fans and observers alike, this serves as a reminder of the importance of verifying before believing, especially in an age where information can travel faster than the truth itself.